not to be having conversations and debates that we see on television when people are having conversation with demons. We are called to cast them out. There are just no place for them in our midst. To heal every disease and every bodily weakness. For a lot of times when this demon comes, they actually inflict diseases and infirmity on our bodies. That's why they must be rebuked. That's why they must be cast out. And these are the names of the emissaries, which we will not go to them. You know the 12 emissaries that we called. They were to proclaim the reign of heaven, the reign of heaven, that it is come, that it is drawn near, to heal the sickness, to cleanse the lepers, raise the dead. It is His will that in our times and in our age, we raise the dead. Cast out demons. And I love this part. You have received without paying, give without paying. What happened in our days that we have now commercialized the gospel? For freely you received, freely should we give. Now, remember the gifts of the Ruach HaKodesh that were mentioned in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 include the gifts of healing. You needed these gifts of healing because one of the mandate, mission that you've been tasked to do is to heal the sick. How are you going to heal the sick if you've not been given a gift to heal the sick? That's why you have been empowered to heal. The discernment of Ruach, the discernment of the Spirit was one of the gifts mentioned in 1 Corinthians chapter 12. That you discern the Spirit, where there's a spirit that is anti the word. Do you know, sometimes it can be so deceptive, the spirit of the unclean spirit. I'm reminded of the times where Shaul, otherwise known as Paul, at some point he was preaching, and as he was preaching and ministering, this girl constantly spoke very loud and said, "Listen to this man. They are speaking the word of Yahuwah." I mean, the words that girl was saying, they were good words. They were saying, "Listen to this man." But Shaul was able to discern beyond the words that were spoken that this woman is speaking from the spirit of divination, from the spirit of evil, unclean spirit. And he rebuked the spirit on that girl immediately. And from that particular time, the masters or the owners of that little girl or that young woman, they were angry because they used to be making money from this girl through divination that she was doing. So that not everything that is speaking nice or acceptable word, you need to be able to discern the spirit to say, is this what is the spirit from above? Is the spirit of Yahuwah or not? So these gifts are administered by Ruach HaKodesh himself to accomplish this mission that we have been sent to do. Now the emissaries needed power before they could start witnessing. Let's also just remember, what are we talking about today? We are talking about the book of Acts, starting from the beginning. What happened with the early emissaries? After YAHUSHA HaMashiach went to heaven, what did they do? What did they need to do? Because he said to them, do not start witnessing unless or until the Ruach HaKodesh comes upon you, for the power from Most High will then enable you to be my witnesses. So you need this power before you can start. And this, we find it in the book of Acts chapter 1 from verse 8. They needed power before they could start witnessing. They needed power before they could start declaring the truth. Because people are not readily willing to accept the truth and to walk in the truth. And then the enemy is not going to go and like, okay, welcome, yeah, sit down and speak the truth. He will try in so many ways to make sure that people don't hear the truth. Even all those that hear, that they don't understand it. And even those that understand it, they will try to argue it. So you need the Ruach HaKodesh to be the one who convicts people, not the eloquence of how well you speak English or how well you can quote scriptures. It is the Ruach HaKodesh that convicts the people. He says that in Acts chapter 1 verse 8, but you shall receive power when the Ruach HaKodesh has come upon you, and you shall be my witnesses. We are his witnesses, Yahusha HaMashiach's witnesses, in Jerusalem, in Judah or Yehuda, and Shamaron or Samaria, and to the end of the earth. You start where you are. You have to start where you are. Even the scripture says so. English people says charity begins at home. You cannot go and be something else to some people internationally overseas that your own people from home, they're not aware of that. So you start where you are. All right. Now, the other part that we see in as we go through what happened in Acts chapter 2 from verse 1, these early emissaries. Now we know what the definition of an emissary is: someone who sent out. They needed to be in one mind and place before the power could come. It is so important. It is so important. They need to be in one mind. You can be 1,000 people in one assembly, but if they're not of the same mind, you're not going to achieve much. And the sad part about being in the same mind is, even to the opposite direction, if you're working in the same mind, you will still achieve the same goal. Being in the opposite direction. Now let's think about the Tower of Babel. They became of one mind, one purpose, one agreement to say, let's build this tower. Let's build the place that we can be on high. And Yahuwah says, let's go down and see what is happening and confound their languages, because what they've put together, because of the unity that they have, because of how much they are one, nobody can come against what they've planned. This was happening in the opposite direction, in the evil working against Yahuwah. How much more if we work for him? We will achieve so much if we work in unity. But if there is division, there will not be any progress. For even the scripture says, a house divided against itself cannot stand. So it is important that at any point in time, once there is division, just stop. There and then say, we're no longer seeing the same way. Are we still addressing, following the same purpose? They need to be in the same mind. They need to be in the same place before the power could come. For it says, when the day of the festival of weeks, so the festival of weeks is otherwise called the Shavuot or the Pentecost. This is where you count 7 weeks from first fruits. So it was 7 weeks from the resurrection of the YAHUSHA HaMashiach, where he died and he was in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights. And then he arose on the first day of the week. That's why he is called the first fruits. And then from that first day of the week, you then count 7 weeks. Then on the 50th day, that's when we celebrate Shavuot, or the festival of weeks of Pentecost. Now, why am I emphasizing this point? After YAHUSHA HaMashiach resurrected and is currently sitting on the right hand of the Father, the early emissaries still celebrated the feast. These are the feasts that we see according to Leviticus chapter 23, or in YAHUSHA chapter 23, which is Leviticus chapter 23. A lot of people are only celebrating the Passover, but there are 7 feasts that are listed in Leviticus 23, including the Feast of Weeks, otherwise known as Pentecost. Who told us to stop? Why are we not celebrating these feasts anymore? What is even hurtful is we're even celebrating pagans' festivals, such as Christmas, and so many other, Valentine's Day that we celebrate, Easter that we celebrate. But that which was commanded according to Leviticus 23, which did not stop in Leviticus 23, it's still applicable to us in our days, as it was applicable to the early assembly, to the early emissaries. They still celebrated Feast of Weeks. And suddenly there came a sound from the heaven, as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared to them divided tongues as of fire, and settled on each one of them. And they were all filled with the Kodesh Ruach, or Ruach HaKodesh, and began to speak with other tongues, as the Ruach gave them utterance, or the Ruach gave them ability to speak. So this, what happened then, the Ruach HaKodesh is actually reminding us now. The YAHUSHA HaMashiach, who's the one that is sending us right now, is saying, I have not changed. I'm the one, I am the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. My mission has not changed. My instruction has not changed. Who lied to you? Who bewitched you? Who deceived you? Who promised you something else? Why have you derailed from the mission that he had given you, that he had given us and commanded us to do? So now let's look at the instructions, because the sender cannot just send someone without giving instructions. Just like as when you send your child, you give them instruction, go to XYZ and do XYZ. Even when you're starting a new job, you are given instructions by your boss, by your line manager. What are you expected to do? So instructions are important. Now, where do you find the instructions? You find the instructions in the book of Matthew, otherwise known as Matthew, chapter 10. Matthew or Matthew chapter 10, from verse 9. It says, do not acquire gold or silver or copper for your money belts, or a bag for the journey, or 2 undergarments, or sandals or staff, for the worker is worthy of his food. Excuse me. The worker is worthy of his food. I used to make this example when I talk to my team, or the team that I work with. I say, guys, remember, when the government appoints soldiers, soldiers don't have to buy their own uniforms. Soldiers don't have to buy their own weapons and ammunition and so forth. They are provided by the government, the country, the nation that appointed them as soldiers. Not only do they take care of the soldiers, but they also take care of their families. That's why we see most of the times in most countries, the wife married to one of the soldiers will be a housewife, because the provision made by the government is enough to take care, so that the mother, the woman who's at home, can take care of the family and the children. If the government, evil as they are, if the nations that we live under, evil as they are, but they know how to take care of their soldiers and the families of the soldiers, what about YAHUSHA HaMashiach himself? How can he appoint people? How can he appoint, according to Ephesians 4, these gifts that we mentioned, and expect the world to clothe them, and expect the world to feed them, and expect the world to provide for transport, for petrol from them to move from point A to point B? It's impossible. The enemy cannot fund the kingdom of Yahuwah. The kingdom of light can only be funded by the kingdom of light. Verse 13. If the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. It's painful when you go to a particular place, you are sent. YAHUSHA sends you to a particular place. And the people that are not that he has sent you to, they don't receive you. Don't take it personal. They're not rejecting you. They are rejecting the one who sent you. Just like we say, don't shoot the messenger. You're just being sent. So don't take it personal. Don't be hurt. Don't want to fight for your position because you didn't send yourself. It says, leave that place. Leave that house. Leave that city. Why should you leave that house? Why should you leave that city? Because you're grieving the Holy Spirit. You are grieving the Ruach HaKodesh, who is now grieved because he's not welcome in this place. You are offended and you are taking offense. And it just says, leave that place and dust your feet as you walk out. And then verse 17 it says, but beware of men, for they shall deliver you up to the Sanhedrin and flog, beat you up in their assemblies. We saw it with the early assembly, the early emissaries. They were taken to the Pharisees, to the Sanhedrins, the leaders of those days, beaten up badly. And what is it to expect in our times that everyone will just accept when we come with these messages? The messages that are not coming with popularity, the message that is not bringing more offerings on the table. Verse 18 it says, and you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, as a witness to them and to the nations. But when they deliver you up, do not worry about how or what you should speak. Don't worry beforehand. For it shall be given to you in that hour what you shall speak. For it is not you who speak, but the Ruach of your Father is speaking in you. Don't stress. Don't want to defend the one who can defend himself. Don't want to fight for the one who can fight for his own battles. At that particular hour, the Ruach HaKodesh will tell you what to say. A brother shall deliver up brother to death, a father his child, and children shall rise up against parents, and shall put them to death. And you shall be hated by all for my name's sake. But he who shall have endured to the end shall be delivered. You're going to be persecuted for his name's sake. He even said that in his word. The servant is not higher than the master. If they persecuted him, the master, even to the extent of calling him that he was operating by the spirit of Beelzebub, the Lord of Beelzebub, how much more about us? How much more about you? You are persecuted and you are hated for his name's sake, which we're going to explain in this lesson. Why so much that this name is being blocked, is being restricted, is being forbidden, is being replaced. But we should endure. And if we endure, then we will be delivered. So there's no such thing as once saved, always saved. No. You have to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. That's why Shaul, otherwise known as Paul says, I need to put my body into subjection, lest after I have preached this gospel, after I've ministered to so many people, I myself be found not worthy to enter the kingdom. So it is important that you were delivered. You are still being delivered, and you will be delivered. You were delivered, you are being delivered, and you will be delivered. Let's keep that track. Don't say once I was delivered, then that's it, I've got the golden ticket. There's no such thing. we are constantly being delivered. And they will still be delivered, for there's still greater perils, trouble times that will come, that will still be delivered from. Verse 24. A servant is not above his teacher, or a student. A student is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his aduni. It is enough for the student to become like his teacher, and as a servant like his aduni or his master. If they've called the master himself of the house of Beelzebub, how much more about us, those of his household? Therefore, do not fear them. For whatever is concealed shall be revealed. Whatever is hidden shall be made known. They tried so many times to hide, to conceal the name of the Creator. They even accept it. They even admit it. If you look at the first pages, those that are still having the hard copy of the Bibles, I don't have it here in front of me right now, you would look at those earlier pages. There's a page that says preface. In the preface, it says that they replaced the name of the Creator. They replaced the name of the Creator with either Lord or God, capital G. Why did they replace it? Why? A topic for another day. But for today, just know that whatever is concealed, whatever is hidden, shall be revealed. They tried to hide the name of the Creator from us. They tried to conceal the name of the Creator from us. But in our times, in our age, that truth is now revealed. They tried to conceal and to hide our identity, who we are. They told us, oh, you are just Gentiles. Really. And the knowledge is now covering the earth as the waters cover the seas. The knowledge of Yahuwah, the knowledge of the word is now coming out. And nobody can stop it. He says, he gives an instruction, he says, what you hear in the ear, proclaim it on the housetops, on the rooftops. What I say to you in the dark, speak in the light. As we go through these discussions that we're having, I'm going to also be sharing the dreams that I've been having, the dreams that other people have been having. Because he reveals these dreams so that you don't feel good just for yourself. It's for the purpose, for the betterment of other people, for encouragement of other people. When Yahuwah speaks to you, whether in the gift of the prophecy or as a prophet, it's not just for yourself. So what he tells you in secret, what he tells you in the dark, you must speak it and shout it out loud in the light. What he speaks to you in the ear when you're having intimate relationship, intimate quality time with him, speak it out and shout it out on the rooftops. We've got so many platforms in our times of shouting it, everything in the rooftops. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media platforms are the platforms in our times to speak out what we heard in the ear, to speak out what we heard in the dark, and to speak out in the loud. And he says, go on, my child, I have sent you. I have raised you up for such a time as this to be declaring this message. Do not fear, do not be intimidated for those that can harm your body, but fear him, not only who will destroy the body, but who can also destroy your spirit, your soul. Verse 34, do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. Now a double-edged sword is painful, cuts on both sides. For I have come to bring division, a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. And the man's enemies are those of his own household. This is the most painful scripture. It is the most painful and sad reality. Because once you start to hear the truth and you come excited to those of your own household. And they are the same people that crush your spirit. They are the same spirit who tells that you think that you know better. They are the same people that say that, has not other people been speaking before? You think that you know it all. They are the same people that you expect to support you, to embrace you, to encourage you. They are the same people that actually speak against you. But be of good cheer. Be encouraged because you have been warned. You have been warned before. YAHUSHA HaMashiach forewarned us and said, when these happen, don't be unsettled. Don't be discouraged. I told you beforehand, it will happen. It says a man's enemies are those of his own household. Now, verse 37 says, he who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he who does not take up his pole and follow after me is not worthy of me. This truth is even more painful to those who are married. I am saying this because I am married. That it does not mean that just like in the ark, in Noah's ark, the animals went on Noah's ark 2 by 2. When it comes to Judgment Day, you're not going to be holding hands with your spouse. You're not going to be holding hand with your husband or a husband. You're not going to be holding a hand with your wife. Every man, individually, you will stand on your own before the great throne of judgment. Alone, not with your spouse. And at that particular time, the books will be open for you. And Yahweh will open up and say, this is what I tasked you to do. YAHUSHA will say to you, I'm the one that sent you and gave you this gift to do X, Y, Z. What did you do with that information that I gave you? What did you do with the grace? What did you do with the favor? What did you do with the abilities? What did you do with the gifts? What did you do with the talents that I gave you? It's going to be painful. It's going to be rough. It's a situation where we get to the parable of one was given 5 talents and he multiplied them and came with 10. Another one was given 3 and he multiplied them. Another one was given 2 and he multiplied them. Literally double them. And the one who was given 1 gift, he went and hid it under the ground. And the master said, you are being wicked. You are being evil. For that which I've given you, you did not multiply it. And the word, we are called to be fruitful and to multiply. Just another reminder. When someone says, bless you, what does that mean? Ubusisiwe. When we say sibusisiwe, it means whatever that we are brought here on earth is to bring about increase, multiplication, fruitfulness. You see it. There's multiplication. Not only multiplication in terms of physical babies, but multiplication in spiritual disciples that you bring about. Multiplication in the fruits that you bring in so many ways. I want us to touch a little bit on the prophet, on the prophecy. Remember I touched on about deliverance and I said, you were delivered, you are being delivered, and you will be delivered. Let's remember, Yahuwah, He's the one who was, who is, and will be. It's also applicable to the prophecies. There are some prophecies that have already been fulfilled. There are some prophecies that are being fulfilled. and there are prophecies that are still going to be fulfilled. Now, we're going to take a break at this particular time, and then after the break, we'll continue on this line of prophecies being fulfilled, were fulfilled, being fulfilled, and to be fulfilled. So we'll take a break right now, and we'll take it on again next time. Thank you, family.